Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to share with you guys some tips and tricks for getting better at Fortnite Battle Royale. I know a lot of you guys have been playing this game. A lot of you guys have been subscribing to the channel. And I wanted to share with you guys some things that I've done over the last several months to help me get better so that I can overall get more wins and get a lot more kills. So the first tip that I have for you is to land in popular areas. Getting used to fighting a lot more players with a lot less loot is definitely something that's going to make you much better at the game. For the longest time, I believe that it was better to land at locations where there weren't any other enemies so that I could loot everything and get prepared. The only issue is that I wasn't used to fighting players, and then when I got further down into the game, the further along the game goes, the people that survive are generally the better players, and then I was just getting destroyed because I wasn't used to fighting all these people. So landing in popular areas where there's going to be a lot of people is definitely a good way to get better at the game. I recommend landing with enemies. When I say that, I mean landing at a house that someone else is landing at. That way you can kind of put yourself in that, you can put yourself under pressure and put yourself in a situation to where, okay, I've got to land in and there's going to be a guy right next to me. I got to figure out how to kill this dude. You grab whatever's on the ground, and that's something that'll help you get better using other things. A lot of people spend so much time looting and they get to the point where they don't run into anyone until they have like a scar and like a purple shotgun, and they don't get used to having a crappy pistol or a crappy shotgun or even like a crappy 3-round burst AR. So you got to get used to the different guns. Again, I recommend landing in popular areas for that, and you'll run into a lot more people and overall become a much better player. The second tip that I have for you is to build a strategy, have a plan. Now, I've got a couple strategy videos on my channel, and I plan on uploading a lot more in the future. But if you personally have your own strategy, if there's a certain route that you like to run, I know the circle always changes, but generally people have an idea of which direction they're going to go. For example, I land at retail, I hit the same 3 houses back to back to back, and I move clockwards around the town. And that's just something that I've always done. It's something I've gotten used to, and I know the ins and outs of retail row, so that it's easier for me to get kills there. Like, I feel like I'm a much better player in retail than I am somewhere random in the map. So build a strategy, have a plan, something that you're used to. Don't just kind of create this unique plan every single game you play, because then it's going to be confusing and you're not really going to have any idea what you're doing. So have a plan, build a strategy, and you'll do much better in the game. The third tip that I have for you is to play by yourself or play with randoms. A lot of us get used to playing with teammates, and we get used to relying on teammates to help us out. If you want to get better at the game, personally, I would recommend playing by yourself. Solo squads is a really good way to do this. It can get very annoying at times when you have to go up against entire teams by yourself, but what that does is that gets you used to taking on entire teams by yourself, so that if you are playing with friends and you get put in a situation where you don't have backup, you're going to be able to handle it, or at least handle enough of it until your teammates back you up. So playing by yourself is a good way to get used to not relying on anyone else in the game, and making yourself an overall better player. The fourth tip that I have for you is to keep aware. Now, what do I mean when I say this? Keep aware of where enemies are landing, which buildings have been looted, where gunshots are coming from. All of these things, paying attention to what's going on in the map, are going to help you out in the long run. One big thing that you can do when you land on the map is pay attention to where enemies are going. For example, if you're landing in retail, if you're landing in Pleasant Park, pay attention to which houses enemies are landing on, so that you have an idea of, okay, if I'm going to get all the stuff in this house, no one's going to land here, I might hit this house because no one landed here, or I might go after this guy because I know he landed here. So pay attention to where enemies are landing, and even your teammates are landing if you're playing with friends. Again, pay attention to which buildings have been looted. If you're running by an area near the beginning of a game and the building already appears to be looted, there's a good chance they're still going to be there, so be very, very careful. And again, pay attention to where the gunshots are coming from. A big tip that I could give you, when you hear gunshots, go toward them. Generally, when there's gunshots, there's 2 teams fighting each other, and what you can do is you can clean up. And I know a lot of people get mad at other teams for cleaning up, but I mean, that's kind of how the game's played. So if there's 2 teams fighting and you roll up and one team won and they're looting, that's when they're most vulnerable. They don't have their weapons in order. They're busy picking stuff up. They've probably lost a lot of health from getting shot at. So keep aware of what's going on in the game instead of just running around aimlessly trying to loot and survive. The final tip that I have for you is to practice building. As you guys see through YouTube videos and some of these streamers, the best players are very good and very quick when it comes to building. So practice building. If someone starts shooting at you, practice building a base really quick. Practice putting up walls and ramps. Practice charging enemies that have bases and building around them so that they can't shoot you until you get to their base. I don't know, just practice building. You'll get better over time. I know it can be hard at first if you're new to the game, but once you get used to it, it's a lot easier. I know a lot of you guys that play on console, including myself, building can be very aggravating, especially now with all the issues that they're having, so many bugs. I try to be so quick with building. If you guys might even see in this gameplay where I try to switch to a ramp really quick, but it's so buggy that it goes to a floor even though I'm on the ramp. So there's a lot of issues right now. I'm sure they'll get fixed over time, but practice building. That's my final tip. I hope some of these tips will help some of you guys out when it comes to getting better at Fortnite Battle Royale. If you guys have any more tips, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. I'll make more videos like this in the future. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next video.